I thank the gentlelady from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, Ms. McCormick, for yielding time. I thank my colleague, Jonathan, for co-anchoring this evening's special order hour. Mr. Speaker, I rise on this day praying for the speedy recovery of 16-year-old Ralph Yarl of Kansas City, Missouri, who was released from the hospital today after being shot in the head for ringing the wrong doorbell. We live in a society today where more and more communities are living in a reoccurring nightmare, reeling from gun violence. Now, gun violence is the #1 killer of children in the United States of America. And while it has always been Black communities that have borne the brunt and the most victimized and terrorized by gun violence, and have too often assumed the blame of a poorly regulated gun industry, I truly expected that there would have been some bipartisan action taken to protect the next generation after the tragedy at Sandy Hook all those years ago. Instead, the far right stays licking the boot of the NRA, taking their blood money and looking the other way. It has become crystal clear that the right-wing Republicans could care less. It is unconscionable that they care so little for the lives of children. I mean, look at what has happened just this past week. Tennessee, Kentucky, Alabama, mass murder, mass casualties have become commonplace. But we can't make it normalized. It is not lost upon me that 2 Black lawmakers, Representatives Justin Jones and Justin Pearson, were expelled from the Tennessee House after joining peaceful protests against gun violence. Another generation who have had to grow up doing gun violence drills in their schools has now taken leadership and is leading the charge. So let's be clear. The CBC won't stand by and allow another Jim Crow era to take root while further GOP legislatures abuse their power, as we saw in Tennessee. The CBC will continue to push back against any and all efforts by Republicans to subvert the will of the American people, whether it is the effort to overturn our election on January 6th or efforts to silence or expel members from state houses who advocate for a better nation, a better America, safe from the horrors of gun violence. Let me thank the gentlelady from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, for yielding me the time. I thank you, and I yield back.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, I would like to yield to my colleague, the Honorable Donald Payne, for